All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Great to see you all. Thanks for joining me each and every day on the interwebs. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Callin, and on Twitter. People can watch the show on Twitter. My God, what a revelation! But hopefully you're all enjoying it on Twitter. People that are watching on Twitter, I feel like people are watching on Twitter. So thanks for watching on Twitter. All right, let's get into it. Got a lot to cover today, and we have a limited amount of time. Let's see. David Wallace Wells. Oh, by the way, if you want to, I've been doing if you want to follow me on Instagram, which is at Kevin Sandbloom, I do like a morning. I usually do like a morning music presentation, usually like a loop or something or a song. I actually didn't do it today because it was destroyed by my next door neighbor has an uncontrollable barking dog, which I cannot seem to be able to. Anyways, whatever. It's a long story. I was trying to make a music post today, and the dog ruined it. So maybe I'll do it later, a little bit later. But generally in the mornings, I post something. If you want to hear something, musical and whatnot, and completely unrelated, and maybe something to just take your mind off of the state of the world. And if you just want to listen to some art, so go do that. All right. Oh, and also don't forget to follow me on my Substack. Right, I have a new Substack. What is the Substack, you ask? blackbearnews.substack.com. blackbearnews.substack.com. You can follow me at my Substack. I just started it, so there's like one post up, and I'll probably be trying to post some other things there too. All right. David Wallace Wells. It looks like we've lost control of melting of the Arctic ice. If we wanted to preserve it in its historical state, we would have needed action on climate change decades ago. And pretty much you can kind of transfer that thought onto almost anything else regarding climate change, right? Oh, we wanted to stay below 1.5. Oh, we wanted to stay below 2. Oh, we wanted to not make the planet uninhabitable for many living species, including humans. Oh, probably should have started that a long time ago. But people were really busy making money and, making things. People were busy chopping down the truffula trees and selling them to you as a thneed, right? So that's what people were busy doing when people were like, hey, the Lorax, a couple of Loraxes out there were like, hey, we shouldn't do that. Like, what are you talking about? I'm rich, I tell you. Anyways, whatever. Thomas Reese. This is a historic, not ending key. I like Thomas Reese's posts are interesting because he doesn't. You can tell English is not his first language, so they're always very interestingly worded posts. But he's getting the information out there nonetheless. This is a historic, not ending heat wave. We have no idea what the 2023 famine, pestilence, war, and extreme weather has done to finance. In Austria, a more or less big Russian luxury property company is tumbling. Now imagine a world where property values are 10% less worth. Sure, like another real estate apocalypse. We're going to actually play a clip from a woman who is in real estate and has some inside knowledge about what's going on with real estate. It's a very interesting clip. We're going to get there. Washington State, one of the leaders on, supposedly leaders in climate change action, and they care a lot, is what they say. We're Washington, we care a lot, but they want another airport, so that's totally because they care. Um, we might look at that. At the Richmond, California Chevron refinery, a power failure hit the facility, and numerous witnesses reported intense flaring with heavy black smoke emanating from the Chevron Richmond refinery plant in Richmond, California. That's what happens when the lights go out, when the power goes out. What's up, people on Rockfin? I see you. When the grid goes down, well, it's hard to control the release of chemicals, right? That's what happens. We need the power. We need the constant power to control the not releasing of chemicals or control the not destroying of the planet. But if the power goes down, then we have little to zero chance of controlling what's going on. And all these things just run amok, right? Nuclear power plants being one example I can think of, out of many. We have, we built up so many things and so many stockpiles and what are they called? The pond, they're called something ponds, where they hold a bunch of like toxic chemicals, and we built up all of these. There's nuclear storage facilities, and there, we have so many things that rely on us continuing to have a grid, and if the grid goes down, a lot of things go down. Colin McCarthy, the Pacific Northwest is set to be hit by multiple significant atmospheric rivers over the next week, bringing widespread heavy rain and mountain snow. Seattle and Portland are projected to receive 3 to 6 inches of rain through early next week, with isolated amounts approaching 20 inches in the Olympic Range. The Cascade Range will see widespread snow amounts of 2 to 5 feet through Saturday, followed by rapidly rising snow levels early next week. A potentially significant flood risk will then emerge in the Cascades early next week, as up to 5 to 10 inches of rain falls on several feet of snow due to a warm Pineapple Express storm. Let me read that again. A flood risk will emerge next week as up to 5 to 10 inches of rain falls on several feet of snow. This poses a threat of dangerous river flooding, with the Skokomish River forecasted to crest near record levels next Tuesday, and the Snoqualmie River forecast to hit moderate flood stage. Despite the flood risks, this series of atmospheric rivers will provide much needed drought relief to the Pacific Northwest, currently experiencing moderate to severe drought conditions. Unfortunately for California, a strong subtropical ridge will deflect most of the rainwater away from the state, except for the north coast, which will be on the southern end of the incoming atmospheric rivers. A couple of interesting and positive stories. Well, this one possibly positive. I don't know. Doomer Girl News posts this. A study shows that inoculating soil with mycorrhizal fungi can increase plant yield by up to 40%. That's significant. And maybe better for the soil, of course. My question, she says, my question of the year has been answered. Can we inoculate soil with fungi to help crops? Seeing that before industrial agriculture, they were essential to growing. So maybe, as we were talking about yesterday, going back to ways that were in use before. Um, from Stephen Donziger, breaking. This is the Sikapai. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it. Indigenous nation in Ecuador's Amazon, which helped defeat Chevron in the historic pollution case, just won legal title to 104,000 acres of ancestral land stolen 80 years ago. Huge win for indigenous rights and the planet. Let's hope that stays. Let's hope that sticks, right? That win. That is a great win, and good on them for fighting for that. And we'll try and come back and look at that. This is a video I really want to play, so I'll come back to this as soon as I can. Remember the housing market crash during the Obama years? Well, you want to hear this. She kind of talks about the state of the housing situation right now. If you're wondering, where the hearts and minds lie of the people who are supposedly representing you, but they seem to be representing other interests mainly. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a resolution equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. They passed a resolution. This is actually was posted by Sabby Sabs, who asked, Black Americans, like, how come they don't? Where's the resolution protecting, Black people, or where are the resolutions meant to help the people of the U.S.? But they pass this one lickety split, of course. When it serves their interests or the interests of the powerful, they seem to be able to move, mighty fast, right? But this is an amazing number of votes: 412 yes, 1 no. Thomas Massie, 1 present. Rashida Tlaib, present. Zionist extremism is alive in both political parties. That's fairly amazing. Before I move on, I just want to ask, like, why does this country have, this tiny country have so much power over the U.S. and so much power seemingly over so many other countries of the world? Why do they hold so much power? I think it's a legitimate question. And why is it that they have to absolutely defend themselves? You cannot call into question. You cannot. You can't call them into question on any level. You can't point out the issues going on with this. You can't. You can't accuse them of atrocities. You can't. You just can't seem to point out what the problems are without being told literally that you're a bad person, a criminal, an immoral, because anti-Semitism is same thing as being like a fascist baby raper, right? Or something like that. Being an anti-Semite is somehow, don't forget that Palestinians are Semites too, right? So if you're actually anti-Palestinian, you're an anti-Semite, or I don't know, whatever. It's an interesting state of affairs, right? And I think it's a legitimate question. Give me 1 second, Phantomas. Woo! All right. Again, there seems to be Elon Musk, is supposed to be the leader in the free speech of everything, right? He's supposed to be your guy, your pal on the inside. The billionaire that's changing things from the inside. His met with Netanyahu, who is currently being protested by his own people. The people of Israel surrounded his house demanding that he resign. And yet Elon Musk is meeting with him and had some interesting things to say after his meeting. Again, why? Why, well, there are a whole lot of Nico House breaks it down a little bit. There are a whole lot of questions surrounding this meeting and the future of X or the future of Twitter or the veracity of its commitment to free speech, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There were some other stories I wanted to get to today, but real quick, Phantomas, how you doing? Are you there?
Yeah, I haven't called in a minute, but I'll take this topic as quickly as I can. I think it has to do with the fact of we've been taught as a society culture preservation for just like one particular culture or maybe two cultures, and the fact that we just keep bringing up these cultures over and over and over again, whether it's the Jewish and whether it's American, just constantly over and over and over again in the world,
Yeah.
it's become damaging to our psyche.
Explain. Expound on that.
Well, what I mean is, is that in the school system, we see which ones come first and which ones come at the very, very last. And to me, it always seems like America, Israel, and then everyone else is talked about, somewhere along the lines.
Right. Sure. We're taking up a lot of the bandwidth, is what you're saying.
And the other thing I'll say to it is this is a very well designed system of benefits now. It's a cottage industry to call someone an anti-Semite.
Sure. Of course. And well, but it's verging on the point of being like a little bit ridiculous in the sense that like it's bare naked authoritarianism, kind of like saying, it's like the party will not be criticized, right? It's 1984 George Orwell, like, and they're just nakedly serving their own interest with this, like everybody is seeing what Zionism is now. Zionism is being laid bare and being exposed for what it is, which is kind of basically an ideology that goes hand in hand with supporting and keeping in place the people that control, pretty much everything, the power, right? So it's very blatant what's going on, and people can see what's going on, and people are upset about what's going on, and they don't like what's going on, and they have very negative feelings about what's going on, but the people in charge are insisting that you do not ever like you don't criticize Zionism, or because it's the same thing as being a hate-filled pus bag. What is going on?
The last thing I'll say is I think what's really happening for so many people who decide to voice really, really strongly in the direction of Israel and all of this, it's escapism. Instead of looking in the mirror and seeing what we've become as people,
right?
It's just this constant projection over and over and over again, and you cannot critically think your way out of that. You just want to talk about the H word over and over again.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, the people that show up, I don't even know if they're real people or not, but maybe they are. Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're actual people. People that show up in the chats talking about, what are you talking about? You're ridiculous. It's just like that you're not saying anything. The people that are the supporters of the whatever the narrative or
the other thing that I think we've failed at is when someone brings up the talking point of they have places to go, there should be more of a breakdown in terms of how the borders actually work and how it's not just simple for 2.5 million people to go. And I'll leave it there.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. There's no. Well, it seems obvious that the point is to drive them out of Gaza, and then there's economic reasons for driving them out of Gaza, and there's um, and it's on the back of the on the excuse of, well, we these very bad people attacked us, the very bad people that we actually created and funded, and that we like, oopsie, didn't even see coming, whoa, right? They attacked us and they did very bad things, and this is just an excuse to go drive millions of people out of this piece of land that we would like to take over and control completely. And we don't care. We don't care. We don't care that we're driving that. This is a Trail of Tears, 10.2, right? This is like just another edition of driving indigenous people from their lands. And this that actually ties into something else that I want to talk about, But it is literally another Trail of Tears. Like we don't like you being here. Oh, I know it's your land. We don't like you being here because we want the land. So we got to create some kind of excuse or treaty or compromise, or we'll sell you some land over here if you give us this land over here, and we're just going to drive you into another place and kill a lot of people along the way, and we don't care. So anybody talking about equity and people being like, historically oppressed and blah blah blah, if you're not on the side of the Palestinians, or if you're not calling out what Israel is doing, well, then what is all your wokeness good for? Right? Because I thought you were supposed to be on the side of the people that are oppressed or something. Anyways, and all the Democrats and all the progressives that are in there going like, yeah, we care about people. No, you don't. You don't care about people. You don't care about people. You don't have the courage to stand up to the people that don't care about people. Or you're in league with them, or it's just comfortable for you to do this, or you still want your paycheck, whatever the reason, you don't care about people. So it's all just like a sham. Rashida Tlaib voting president. Really? Anyways, but who knows? These people are very powerful, and they're disgusting people. So they'll go to any lengths to make sure that nobody gets in their way. So there's that. There's that part, and that's true. That's real. That's absolutely real. Okay, William, how you doing?
Hey Kev, how you doing? Can you hear me okay today?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
I don't know where to start unpacking this. You and I have covered a lot of things. I think it's worth first repeating a positive response to people who call anyone anti-Semite. It's citing Shulamit Aloni's interview by Amy Goodman, Democracy Now! You don't know what that is? That will give you the perfect response. Should I repeat the thumbnail version, Kev, or do you want me to? Do you want to do it?
Well, I just, if you have, if you have like something definitive you want to say, I can't actually spend too much time on the call, William, because I got to get back to covering some of these stories. But I just wanted to take some thoughts from you on.
Well, real quick, I suggest anyone look at that. She's a Knesset member who won the 2000 Israeli Award, and what she said was, when Amy Goodman asked her, said, when people criticize Israel for the treatment of Palestinians, they're called anti-Semitic. And Shulamit said, oh, that's a trick. She said, we always use it. If people in Europe do it, we call them Holocaust deniers.
Sure.
She said, right. And that's the gig. That's the trick. And so she said, it's a trick. She said, people, Israel has a lot of power in our government and media and in Hollywood. And, I'm just giving, there's a lot more to it. But so there you go. You have to put things into context, in historical context. Let me say one more thing. I know you want to run. But the Zionists are from Ashkenazi Jews, the Khazarians from Eastern Europe, Ukraine. They are not Abrahamic bloodline. They're not Semitic.
Right.
You see?
Sure. So it's not non-Semitic people saying, "Don't call me, don't be an anti-Semite," right?
Exactly.
Sure.
And Jesus was a Palestinian, and a Semite. I mean, all the Arabs are Semites. You know this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's a point that's lost on a lot of people, and but people are people are figuring it out. People are coming to learn all these things, and they're having a hard time. That's why there's passing resolutions in the House, because they're having a hard time controlling, like, oh, we don't want people to think the thoughts.
Exactly. I want to
And
give
so,
one reference. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sensitive to your time. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, no, it's all good. Well, William, thank you for the call, man, and thanks for the thoughts. I didn't want to get back to a couple of these, playing a
Can I
couple of
make
these clips.
one expert witness people can look up in Google? Can I let me
Sure.
just cite that? Okay. You have the former director of the U.S. Army War College, Alan Sabrowski, PhD, veteran Marine. Look him up in Google and see what he says about Israel and Palestine. He's a Jewish American.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
All right, man. Thank you. And I completely, the news happens like so fast, like in a day. But Henry Kissinger has passed away, which is pretty big news. Probably could have even led with that, but at the same time, I saw the news that he passed away, and it was like, geez, like, sorry if that's mean, but he's a bad guy. He's not a nice guy. He wasn't your friend. But Henry Kissinger has finally passed away at 100. I know it's a little bit rough, but interestingly enough, Henry Kissinger started to say some true things as he got older, like about certain situations, which is not not out of the realm of possibility. It's like, people who understand what's going on in the world, can make accurate insights into what's going on. But he seemed to be concerned about some of the things that we were doing. I actually saw something about the fact that he didn't think a lot. He thought Joe Biden was kind of an unhinged warmonger. This is from Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger thought Biden was some kind of unhinged warmonger. And that's an interesting observation from Henry Kissinger, the original unhinged warmonger, calling Joe Biden an unhinged warmonger. If you want to know. Anyways, by the way, so there's so much evidence going on that people are just not having what is going on, not going along with the program that they want everybody to go. Just be happy consumers and just be, cool with all our, with what's going on. Just be fine with it. Chaos erupts as pro-Palestinian protesters try to disrupt the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting, breaking through barricades and fighting with police. I think this is a couple days ago. Currently, chaos is unfolding. Or no, this is actually recent. In New York City, is reports of thousands of protesters. Police have deployed pepper spray and are working to contain the crowd. So I guess this is from probably last night. Reports of multiple arrests been made. I mean, but what are you gonna do? Are you gonna criminalize like everybody? You're gonna. Is that how you're going to do it? Just going to criminalize everybody? Maybe that's the plan. Last story I wanted to just quickly. Jordan Chariton says corporate liars after GM cried impending bankruptcy if it met the UAW strike demands, and the UAW won some very big concessions from GM and other automakers. It was a successful strike, and they won. But GM, after all of that, is now issuing a $10 million stock buyback and increasing its investor dividend by 33%. That's a pretty good dividend. So they had the money all along and withheld it from their workers. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? All right. Let's go back through and look at some of these things. I didn't actually mean to. Trying to get to the things I really want to. Let's. I don't want to jump around too much. Well, let's look at this from Financial Times real quick. And we'll move on to, I want y'all to listen to the woman who was talking about what's going on with the housing crisis. Because it's good things to know. From Financial Times says we've lost control of our ice sheets. Yeah, and that'll. Oh, I guess I can't. Hold on. All right. See if this will give me something. Nope. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to look at this article. My bad. There was a time when Financial Times would let me look at. Oh, here we go. Why can't I look at it here and not over there? That's interesting. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to show you the article, but I can read a little bit of it. Basically, it says it looks like we've lost control of our ice sheets. Scientists warn on the rate of melting and say research into mitigating the impact is needed. Research into mitigating the impact is needed. Okay. I think we've got a lot of time for that. I think we got decades for that. We need some research on how to mitigate an entire ice sheet that's already melting. Okay. Tell me more. I just love the language. I love it. They're it's like see some guy with spectacles on going, well, I think we're going to need some research on this. Okay. Why don't you just make another cup of tea? Just try to relax. Okay? Just take it easy, pal. Sorry. Sea levels are rising because heat causes water to expand and ice to melt. Whoa. Really? Financial Times? Thanks for that. I know they just got to say the things in the sound bites. I understand. It's just funny. I needed something comic, some comic relief this morning. Anyways. Let's see if they give us anything good. One of the most intensively researched consequences of ocean warming in the Southern Ocean is the melting of Antarctic ice. This ice takes three forms. Thinnest is the sea ice resulting from seasonal freezing. Thickest is the ice sheet that coats the continent. And an average depth of more than 2,000 meters in between are the floating ice shelves. And ocean warming is soaring. Of course, we know this. And basically getting down to the meat of it, it looks like we've lost control of melting of the West Antarctic ice sheet, says Caitlin Naughton. Let's go back to here. The ice sheet is the continent's largest contributor to sea level rises, currently losing 80 billion tons of ice per year, and it contains enough ice to raise global sea levels by 5 meters. The researchers do not predict how much will actually melt because their model does not simulate all factors, such as snowfall on the ice sheet. But why? Anyways, Caitlin says it looks like we've lost control of melting of the West Antarctic ice sheet. If we wanted to preserve it in its historical state, we would have needed action on climate change decades ago. It's good that they put this all the way down in the article. The bright side is that by recognizing the situation in advance, you mean the situation that's already happening? It's kind of like, okay. Has everybody lost their minds? It's kind of like people talking about limiting warming below 1.5 C when we're already at 1.5 C. Are you trying to drive me insane? Recognizing the situation that's already happening in advance. Okay. How about just recognizing the situation? How about just recognizing the situation that's happening? Can we do that? Anyways. But these are all very smart people, so just listen to them. Don't listen to me. Don't mind me. All right. So let's, I want to listen to this video. I listened to it once already, but I want to listen again, and you guys can listen with me. If you're wondering why housing prices are going bananas and rents are going bananas, and some of you are, well, not some of you, all of you are very smart people. Yeah, but some of you are really, keyed into this, what's going on with the housing, with the markets and the housing and impending implosions. And you already know this stuff, but she's kind of breaking down some good.
The exact person.
Here we go.
I've been seeing a lot of videos on Instagram and TikTok of people talking about the cost of housing being out of control, the cost of rent being out of control. Now, I'm all about the bullshit and the laughs and giggles, but check it. You're talking to a very accomplished real estate broker. I'm a broker in 17 states, and I actually represented Fannie Mae during this infamous real estate crash for the state of Georgia. The exact person that you can blame, if you want to blame somebody, for the housing situation being messed up, I'll give you a hint. You probably got a bedazzled t-shirt with his face all over it. Now, it was Barack Obama. Now, am I a Republican? No. Am I a Trump supporter? No. But do I have information? Do I have firsthand accounts of what went on? Oh, yes, I do. So stay tuned. During the infamous housing crash, there was a thing called the Protecting Tenants Under Foreclosure Act.
Wait, hold on. I want to stop right there. The act was called the Protecting Tenants Under Foreclosure Act. And guess what this thing did? The opposite of protecting the tenants. The opposite, right? It's like the Free Puppies for Everyone Act is like, we're going to come to your house and take your dog. Right? This is what they do. Anyways.
And you were renting it. You were able to stay in that property. If you were a homeowner and you lost a property, you were allowed to rent that property and be able to stay there, ironically, for about 2 or 3 years, so that you could get yourself together. So if you were one of the 8,000 homes, you probably had me come to the property and negotiate a rent with you and manage the property while you were there. Now, in a lot of instances, these tenants and sometimes these homeowners, after a year or two, were able to gather their finances and they were able to want to purchase the property. That sounds logical. So after about a few hundred offers would always be denied, I'm on a conference call and I ask and I inquire, why are we not allowing these people to buy their homes that they've been living in? Like, why are we doing that? You want to know what I was told? By Fannie Mae. I was told that they have direct instructions to not do that. And so do you want to know what happened sometime later? They were pooling these properties in pool sales, and you had to have between 10 and 50 million dollars in escrow in order to bid on a house that somebody was living in that was 60,000, even though that family were offering 60,000 cash to buy their home. But who would have that type of money, Summer? Who would have that type of money? Because it ain't nobody up here in the A. Oh, I'll tell you who had it because I represented them. China, South Africa, Australia, hedge funds from outside entities. I had no idea that America was for sale. And the Obama administration totally is the one that put it on the market. And I said, this is going to harm Americans. Like, why do you not want Americans to be able to buy this?
Protecting tenants under Foreclosure Act. We're going to sell the house out from under you to a hedge fund. Ha, ha, ha.
Property at these low rates. And I also was told, because if you have a father who makes good money and his wife, the mother, makes good money, and they're not paying high prices for where they live, and they're saving money, and now they are opening businesses, and now the wife's not working, taking care of the family, it changes the dynamic and the course of how America is built, and we don't want that. So basically, you want people to stay in debt, and you want them to pay these exorbitant prices. This was...
Yeah, basically. Okay, I'm not going to... It's a 5-minute video, but... Yeah, she said, I don't know if she already said it in this video, but in the video she says, like, Barack is the same color as you, but he's not the same as you, something like that. And I was like, whoa. Right? Are you saying he made people feel good so that he could be a front man for the people that want to take all your stuff? Yeah. It's a pretty good video. And yeah, I already know. I mean, there's plenty of people out there be like, duh, yeah, I already knew that. But like, she's coming into, a lot of people are coming into the realization like, oh, yeah, we got hoodwinked, we got duped, we got taken for a ride. Yeah. Anyways, so that's happening. Let's look at this from Nico House and about Elon Musk visiting Nah. That was some funny fun. Did anybody see that interview with well, probably not a lot of people watch this interview, but I did just because entertainment. But Kanye West on with Alex Jones. And the one where he was wearing a mask for the whole interview, and he was talking about Netanyahu. He's all, nah. That was just comic gold. Comic gold. Anyways, let's watch this.
Billionaire who owns So Elon Musk goes full Zionist after he was dragged on his little leash around Israel by Netanyahu after being called anti-Semitic after some recent comments he made on Twitter. Now, we are going to talk about Elon's comments that he made while talking to Bibi after his little visit to Israel. But before we get into that, anybody want to tell me why a billionaire is going to Israel for diplomatic reasons to begin with? Is Elon Musk a president? Is Elon Musk an ambassador? Does bro even have a political science degree? The answer is no, no, and no. Elon is a tech billionaire who owns X and prides himself on allegedly being a free speech absolutist. And therein lies the problem. See, there have been a lot of Israel's lies being debunked on all social media, but especially, of course, on Twitter. And if you're Bibi Netanyahu, it's a little inconvenient to have all that truth just floating around when you're trying to justify a genocide. And we also know that Musk doesn't only own X, but is constantly calling out for attention by making tweets, giving the illusion of being insightful, like a 4-year-old who's looking for validation because he didn't get enough attention from his father. Now, because of his willingness to constantly interact on X, he has a lot of influence. And people are willing to echo things that Musk says because those impressions equal paychecks now. So Musk, like a good little billionaire puppet, hit a little move whenever Israel started pulling them strings. And his little remarks after that propaganda tour he went on should make everyone question this principled man that they had always thought Musk was. Example, Musk says that terms such as decolonization and from river to the sea will result in a suspension from X. He says that decolonization and from the river to the sea are euphemisms that necessarily imply genocide. I really hope I don't have to explain the irony of a white South African whose family became millionaires from exploiting an apartheid South Africa, saying that decolonization is necessarily genocidal. But this also implies that he thinks that the word colonization isn't inherently genocidal. And I feel like there are some indigenous Americans who might want to have a conversation with him about that. Up until literally October 7th, even the ADL, which is a Zionist group, never considered from river to the sea to be a genocidal statement or anti-Semitic statement. But Elon fans, y'all getting banned for saying words now on X? This is y'all free speech king? This is y'all king? And this motherfucker has the audacity to say kids need better education in Gaza because they were fed propaganda as children, and that's why they don't like Israel. First of all, Elon, where the fuck the kids gonna go to school at? Israel has destroyed everything. Schools, hospitals, homes, dog houses. But it's crazy to me that you can look at the sheer destruction of what's happening in Gaza or the destruction that's happening in the West Bank where there is no Hamas and be like, yeah, it's definitely propaganda that is making kids hate Israel. It isn't the fact that they're bulldozing their homes. It isn't the fact that they're stealing their land with impunity. It isn't the fact that kids are being kidnapped, thrown in jail, being tortured, having their fingers broken, and they aren't even being charged with a crime. Yeah, Elon, it's the propaganda. That's why the kids hate Israel, for sure. That's it. But what's even more disgusting, while he's on this little crusade of banning harmful speech and misinformation on X now, you know, Mr. Free Speech Elon, but what's even more wild is that he didn't have the balls to, one, challenge Netanyahu, or two, talk about the fact that they have been spreading misinformation all over Twitter. First it was 1,400, then it was 1,150, then it was 40 beheaded babies. Then it was only one dead infant, and it turned out Israel killed him. Then it was kids were getting cooked in ovens. Then it turns out, nope, they were just bombed by Israeli tanks. Israel has gotten caught lying over and over and over again without impunity. But all of a sudden, the first time Elon wants to finally hold someone accountable for misinformation, it's everyone else for telling the truth about Israel? I cannot believe y'all thought that the richest man in the world who made the majority of his money from government subsidies and Pentagon contracts was somehow supposed to be this savior, this free speech savior. Nah, I thought it was a pretty safe bet. The white South African apartheid baby supports the apartheid state of Israel. I don't see how you could have thought that there was going to be any other conclusion.
All right. Pretty good stuff from Nico House. Yeah. And he's just mouthing, like the other day I was talking about the, Elon on Joe Rogan. It was just like I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. But he was just mouthing, he was just saying the lines. He was just saying all the lines. He was like, "Oh, I've got my notes here from all the really cool YouTubers and the TikTokers, of catchphrase things that they say, like you'll own nothing and be happy, and George Soros is anti-human, and Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, they're bad, they're anti-human, they're going to take all your stuff, and he's just saying the lines. Yeah, the guy runs, SpaceX, Starlink, military contractor. And he's just out there just mouthing the words, and everybody's like, "Yeah, thanks, Elon. Thanks." And for some people, Twitter is a better place, but not Jim Bendel or Garland Nixon or other people that have been, banned from Twitter. So, I don't know. It's kind of like, excuse me, it's kind of like free speech-ish. Okay. All right, guys. That does it for me. Sorry, I bumped the mic. Getting a little loosey-goosey at the end of the show. That does it for me. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Real quick, if you enjoy the show and you like the show being here every day, there are ways you can support. You can super chat, you can super ray, you can Patreon, you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/blackburnnews. You can Cash App the Red Llama Music. You can Venmo at the Kevin Sandblum. You can PayPal.me/Kevin Sandblum. You can Zelle me at Kevin Sandblum at protonmail.com. And thanks, y'all. I appreciate you. And until next time, peace.